Bienvenidos, willkommen, bienvenue to Schnozzcast episode 62 for Friday, March 6th, 2020. How are you? How was your week? Was it rough? Was it a shit show? Did you drink during the work day? Did you, in fact, think about offing your boss at any point in the week?
Ooh. Yes.
I know Cory did.
Since he's not here right now.
Well, I hear him creeping around upstairs. So. This is Bob. We got Cory here as well.
Oh, hey.
How are you now?
Oh, not so bad. And you?
Not so bad. And Mr. Nicholas J. Bader, Esquire, is just getting off work, and I hear him fucking crickety creeping upstairs.
Pitter-patting around upstairs.
Yep, like an old lady just back from...
crotchety old grandma.
Just back from the massage therapy.
Oh. That's gross.
Yeah, that's the name of the game here in the Schnozzcast. How gross can they get? So, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. I wouldn't say it's a skeleton crew right now, but Cory and I made it work. I'm going to give Cory all sorts of credit, especially before Nick gets here and can shit all over him. And say that he picked me up at 8:30, which was 90 minutes early, and we were even made a stop at the store on the way, and we're here right at 9 in time for 1 hour of prep time. And for Mr. James Krabby Pappas, you'll be happy to know that we actually did some pre-gaming and some prep work to try to make this as smooth as possible and for us to be as prepared as we can. So we'll see how this goes.
I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think so. So how are you, man?
Oh, not too bad. Oh, much better now. Things are rolling down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have a good episode and close out the night with some fun.
Yeah, no doubt. So we've got a bunch of things to talk about tonight. I recently was asked, hey, what do you guys talk about in the podcast? I said, well, it's everything. It's a show about everything and nothing. And they said, well, do you have any themes? Like, do you have an episode that is, episode 14, you talk about the minimum wage law or whatever it might be.
One too many times.
And I said, no, we don't really ever have a theme. The only themed podcast we've ever done was with Detroit Paranormal Expeditions, in which we gave them the floor completely for the entire episode and tried to engage them to tell us all about their background and how they ghost hunt, the equipment that they use, the experiences that they've had, and the stories that they could share. And it was by far one of our most highly downloaded episodes, which makes sense because we can't compete with that.
Well, no, yeah, they're pretty well known and I would say famous at this point.
Yeah.
And I mean when they're hosting big events and things of that nature where thousands of people buy tickets and flock to.
Yeah.
And when they're selling out events in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, and they've been on television.
Yeah, many a times.
Yeah. It was not True TV. Is it True TV?
No, there was a couple episodes on Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi.
And also on the Travel Channel.
Travel Channel, thank you.
Actually, the Travel Channel seems very big for them. It seems like they keep on reaching back out to Detroit Paranormal Expeditions to do interviews and weigh in on some situations. So
well, every network is looking for that thing. Like True TV built their name on the backs of the Impractical Jokers.
Right.
And so I got to imagine the Travel Channel used to do obviously the Travel Channel, so they do all sorts of travel related shows. But part of that was they had Bert Kreischer do a show. They had him do a couple of shows for them called
Bert,
absolutely. And I want to say there was another one. It was like a companion show called Bert.
I do not remember that one.
Yeah.
That one might not be as well known because he doesn't even talk about it on his stand-up specials. So
yeah, well, he's trying to move forward. So
yeah,
that's to be expected.
But I think the Travel Channel has definitely made some leaps and bounds as far as their programming goes.
Yeah, and they're probably looking for the same thing. Like, who's the next cash cow? So when Travel Channel has Detroit Paranormal Expeditions on the show and they get good ratings, then they go, oh, yeah, we want you guys back. And then they start to think about, okay, who is our audience actually? Are the people who are interested in travel, or do we have a lot of ghost hunters who happen to also love travel?
Right.
You know, and if we find like a ghost hunter type show like Detroit Paranormal Expeditions and they do well, then maybe we build something on that and we turn ourselves into the ghost channel.
And it seems like they do have a lot of paranormal shows now.
Right.
So it seems like they're taking that turn. But yeah, no, that's excellent for Todd and Jeff and their group.
Yeah, for sure. We wish them all the best, and we're working hard to get them back on. So, if we are very lucky and you are listening to us now, having never listened to us before, we did the episode with Todd and Jeff from Detroit Paranormal Expeditions. Welcome. Thank you for sticking around. That has always been our goal. Like, yeah, they've been here. We talked to ghosts and ghost hunting and ghost detecting and things like that. But when they're not here, we've got what we think is a funny show. So
yeah, I think it would be kind of hard to stick to just one topic, given our personalities.
We structured this podcast very specifically around when you go to the bar and you're sitting there having some drinks with your girlfriends or drinks with your buddies. What do you talk about? Do you talk about each other? Or you talk about stories? Well, remember the time, you know, Cynthia took that guy home and turned out that he had food poisoning. Those types of stories. And everybody's got them. But I know that if you've done that, you think it's funny. We felt the same way. So we're like, well, maybe other people find this funny. We certainly did. We're like, let's give it a shot. And it's been a blast to do every week. So it's been over a year, officially, for sure. Well over a year, episode 62. I think of the 62 that we've done, we've actually put out for the public 60 of them. So we're now officially at 60. There were 2 that are lost to obscurity due to some, we were early on.
Technical difficulties.
We didn't know what the hell we were doing.
If someone had a phone in their pocket, it threw the entire podcast.
Yep. Or we were all sitting around one table with one microphone.
Those were the days.
Drinking and shouting at each other. Not that we don't do that now. I think we just do a little more quietly because we can hear each other in the headphones. But
yes, yelling into your laptop.
Yeah. So as far as housekeeping goes, I really don't have anything. But as a tangential housekeeping story, I will say, let's tell the story before Nick actually finishes, his makeup and his blush and putting on the hairspray and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, because as a matter of fact, Danielle did say that there was a static in the mic, that she could kind of hear you, but that was about it. And so I reset the connections real quick, and
in that mic? Or
in the Facebook Live mic, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I believe that is Nick showering upstairs that everyone's hearing right now.
As long as you know who to blame, that's fair.
Yeah.
So speaking of Nick, it was what's today? Today's Friday, so it was Wednesday night. I went to bed. Nicholas.
Oh, hey.
How are you, sir? Went to bed and laying there in bed. It was a long week, rough week, and so I'm laying there and something happened. I got a text from someone, so I roll over, I grab the phone, and I'm looking at it, and I get a notification from Instagram. Oh, I've been tagged in a post. So
I know where this is going.
So I go, all right, I'm not quite asleep yet. So I go to Instagram, I look at the post, and it's a Schnozzcast post by Nick Bader, who has made, and I'm looking at it going, that's fucking genius. He's got this post with a whiskey glass with a big block of ice in it, sitting on on a few dollars and some change, and he's got the equalizer thing going down below. So I know there's audio. So I'm like, oh, that's fucking genius.
It did look very good.
And I thought at first that it was like the other one he did, where it was like the audio from an episode, like it was a snippet from an episode past.
Right.
So I hit the speaker button, I took it off, and it was like in the middle of it. It was the middle of the speech, and it was Nick basically going like, we're going to be live on blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh. And it hit me. I'm like, that's fucking genius. Why have we not done this before? It's like an old, it's like Drew and Mike used to do on the riff, where they would do like a little promo for their show, and it would be one of them, I think it was probably Mike all the time, doing, hey, listen, tune in because you never know what's going to happen. And then they'll play like some of those on the show and come back and be like, yeah, so tune in to Drew and Mike and this blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, what a great idea. And it was then that it looped back around, the audio. And it went back to the beginning. And I heard, I'm trying to remember exactly how it went. It went, hey, you Schnozzronis.
The old Schnozzronis.
This is Nick from Schnozzcast. And I'm like, Schnozzronis? Okay, well, I guess we technically don't have a nickname for our fans. Or fans. So,
for one fan.
Right. So, then I hear it goes, so on Friday night, join me and Cory and Danielle for the podcast. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and literally, in fact, I just went like this. What? So I shot a text over to Nick and Cory. I go, hey, Nick, I saw your Instagram post. And I think at that moment, Cory was also looking at the post. And he just jumped in. He's like, bah! I didn't know that you had been exiled from the Schnozzcast.
Well, and that's like I told you, I was kind of in the same situation. Nick, I saw that I was tagged in a post, so I just figured it was the artwork for the week. I'm like, I'll look at it later. Mm-hmm. And then when I saw that you sent the text, I said, Nick, I saw the Instagram post, ... I was like, oh, there's a problem with it.
Did I put a ... If I didn't, I should have.
I think it was definitely worthy of one.
Right.
So that's when I started listening to it, and it was also halfway through.
Now, you have to understand, dear listeners, that what we do in this podcast is essentially rip on each other for 2 straight hours. I was telling Cory last night that every time one of us says a name, let's say a proper noun, a name of a place, a name of a person, and we trip over our tongue a little bit, we know that we can count on everyone else to just fucking pounce all over us and go, well, what was that? What did you just say? It's a lot of that.
We don't all make that noise.
True. That's my approximation. A poor man's imitation of Cory Zaleski. But so naturally, I sent back some smart ass text like, hey, let me know when I can swing by and pick up all my shit. And Nick's like, hey, everybody shut up because and I'm like, I realized right away, I'm like, oh, he's trying to record a new version of this. And he can't do that because you and I
keep on texting.
Yeah. And his phone keeps blowing up and he can't do it. So I held off a bit. But Cory did not. Cory kept on going.
No, he didn't.
with the smart ass comments. And finally I think Nick had just had enough. He's like, yeah, how do we go from a podcast that's so supportive and so helpful to our friends to one where it's just like, Dad, jab the knife in. Fucking great. This is obviously paraphrasing, but I'm like, all right, well, he probably thinks I don't know if he thinks I'm mad, or if he's just mad that he had to redo it. But I'm like, it didn't change it. So the next day, I sent him no, it wasn't the next day. It was last night. It was a little over 24 hours later. I'm like, hey, just want you to know, great job on the thing, and everything happens for a reason because it was talking about that exact thing with Cory that birthed a couple of new ideas. And that's exactly how that shit should happen. Like, I know he didn't do it on purpose. And in fact, I was telling Cory, I'm like, I know Nick well enough to know Nick had a great idea. Nick has great ideas all the time. And Nick knows that he doesn't have to consult me to ask if he could do
I'm
this
not
great
still
idea.
mad at you, Bob, so you don't have to keep padding it.
I'm not sure why you're interrupting me when I'm telling my story.
Great ideas all the time.
Okay, I won't say anything nice about you then. This is legitimately an honest, I'm being honest here. He knows he doesn't have to ask me or Cory to do this good idea thing. He's just going to do it because it's not like he was stepping on anybody's toes. Like, it's the Instagram. He kind of owns the Instagram. He's in charge of that. But I know from best practices, from the episodes where something is going wrong with the recording, or we had some sort of a false start. I've had to record those intros for the podcast, and I know from personal experience, like, you always write that shit down. You make a script, and then you read the script, and that's it. Because
I was going to say, so now that we have you here, is that what occurred?
Now, No, of course not. And I did the same thing. The first time I did it, I'm like, and you're like, okay, take number 14, and you're like
Yeah.
trying to remember what you did, and you figure out pretty quickly. You're like, I just need to write this shit down because I don't want to get it wrong. And that means instead of doing 14 takes, I write it down and I only do it twice.
Right.
And,
Yeah, there was about
and that's what happened.
probably just as many, and it slowly lost its professionalism as the takes went on. Yeah, Cory, Bob, Danielle, Schnozzcast, 10 o'clock. I'm like, okay, now I'm just ready to go to bed,
Right.
and I'm done with this, and I've put too much time into it to just say fuck it. So
I'm no longer a fan of my great idea.
no,
I wish I'd never thought of it.
no.
But that doesn't change the fact that it was a great idea. And the other great idea that it birthed, one of the two, was number one, I love it because it sounds like, I was just giving you props, because it sounds like what Drew and Mike used to do a promo for their show.
Right.
And I said, Cory, I'm like, I bet there's probably a way that you could download, because you were playing the theme song for the podcast behind you.
Right.
I bet there's a way that you could do it and even make it more retro. Like, we have a theme that goes along with the artwork that you do, and used to be the intro music before we got the great music from Jack Moran. Props to Jack. Thank you again. We used to do old-timey blues music from the 30s and the 40s, which was in the public domain, and we didn't have to pay anybody to do it, which is fantastic, but there's only so much of that. So I'm like, Cory, I bet there's probably a way, somewhere you can go to get like a WAV file or an MP3 that has like scratchy, like either like needle scratching on a record sound, or something like a static from like an old-timey radio that you can overlay over Nick talking to make it even more weathered and sort of in that same vein.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I bet there is. And I'm like, see, this is exactly the way this is supposed to work. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Any mistakes that you make will ultimately turn out to yield gold if you give it enough time.
Yeah, and I think that even though I know you were a little upset at first, it worked out for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't change the fact that it was a great idea, and one that it's now another arrow in our quiver that we can use. If not every week, certainly every time that Nick has, the time to do it.
Oh,
I don't know how hard is it to do what you did.
It was the discovering of it. I was kind of like Ponce de Leon, and that
I kind of prefer to say
yeah.
There we go.
In the sense, little Magellan in me,
DeSoto. I gotta go with DeSoto.
But yeah, there was some trial and error. The initial one sounded great and the audio was great, but I'm like, ooh, you know what would make this amazing is if I put music in the background. And I'm like, oh, what music? And I was like, okay, well, I don't have the audio version of our actual music, so I'll just start the podcast. So I did it, and I'm like, okay, no, it sounds like it's on a transistor in the background. So I'm like, there has to be a way to do this. So
Perfect.
No, that sounded horrible.
No, I'm not saying let's make it sound horrible. I'm saying like with the old-timey theme that we tend to bring into a lot of the artwork that you do, like having an old-timey like radio promo is genius.
Right, but I was like crystal clear, and then in the background I was like, it was like it just didn't sound good.
You kind of sounded like you were at a payphone somewhere, and you were calling, which was genius. I'm like, I loved everything about it. I'm legitimately not trying to blow smoke up your ass. I listened to it many times because I'm like, he's onto something here, and I don't want to fuck up a good thing, but I feel like this can be, we can build upon this. This is something that I hadn't thought of. So, props to you, buddy.
But I actually did find where you could mix the audio into it, and I was able to get on the Google Drive and cross mix the audio. But it was really weird because, like, let's say we had the Jack Moran music at 50% and you had me at 100%. When it went into like post, it switched the guitar to 90% and me to 90%. So it was it was very frustrating because it had to work and fix, or what do they call it when you're like putting together an episode and you hit like save or whatever and it sits there and it has to
It's exporting. It's
Right.
building an MP3 file.
Right. But I can't think of the word right now. What I'm looking for. But anyhow, regardless,
it's mixing it all together. Really, is what it is.
Right.
Into a
So-
format that's portable.
yeah. So it's not like you can just listen to it and go, oh, well, let me just change this one thing.
Yeah.
You have to wait for it to get done, and then you're like, why the fuck is it doing this? I'm putting this at 50. So I had to learn that you have to put the guitar part at like 8%,
Right.
and me at like 100, and it sounds almost as if we're equal. So
I'm
there's some
gonna
trial
do
and
you a
error.
favor here and say, because you have a laptop, right?
Yeah,
Is it a Windows or a Mac?
Mac.
So is it an older laptop or is it a newer?
No, it's about 7 years old.
So it's old. Okay, but your iPad is relatively new, right?
Yeah, brand new.
So use your iPad and put GarageBand on it.
Okay.
Because not only is that going to help you to stand in for me, let's say in 2 weeks when I'm not here, but you can use GarageBand to literally, like, you're going to have a track here for you, and you're going to have a track here for the music, and you can literally like move the levels up and down, and then do a share and then export to MP3 like right from here. It's super fucking easy.
Yeah, so what I'll have to do is I'll have to do that and then export the MP3 to the app on my phone.
Yep.
To where I can put it
or
in
throw
that
it
format.
throw it into like your OneDrive or Google Drive or wherever you want it. It doesn't have to be on your iPad, but you could put it on your iPad. But yeah, that's exactly the way that you should do it, because that's going to get you set up to sit in for me or to use the Mac Apple medium that we're using for the audio that we all will have. Corey's got it. Cory uses it too. So I guess that's technically housekeeping for the day.
I believe you're missing one big part of housekeeping that's directly behind you.
Kristen said whatever you're plugging, it's buzzing. When you unplugged it, it was good. Not as bad as it was. No more buzzing. Thumbs up.
Oh, thumbs up now, no buzzing?
Yep.
Okay, so we're good. Thanks, Kristen. Is that Kristen Gephardt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, before someone gets really upset, that was actually Danielle that originally said it was buzzing.
Oh,
Okay.
Danielle making her presence felt in the podcast even while she's not here.
So that was housekeeping. So I think I did pretty good getting here on time.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean,
Considering.
Pretty much what we thought.
How do you like the tapestry?
My blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I assume that people can see it.
It's not that you just click hang blanket when you get downstairs.
No, I appreciate
this
hanging.
And this 15 by 20 blanket just hangs itself when you're by yourself and you have a 7-foot beam. There's a little trial and error that goes
Do you want me to give you a pat on the back?
I just didn't know if you liked the positioning.
I liked it. If it needed to be moved at all, I made it clear that I wasn't going to be the one to do it.
Yeah, don't move it.
Exactly.
I'd like it better if we draped it over the entire TV and entertainment system and just covered everything of Nick's in this area.
That's not what I was going for at all.
No. I don't know what he's going for, but all I know is that I was not going to be part of it because there's going to be some kerfuffle when Nick got back.
Oh, yeah.
He's very particular about, dude, this is my house. I'm not sure what you think you're doing.
Has there been anything else that I've said that about except for that blanket?
Dude, Cory, help me out here. Every week it's something.
What else
Every
have I
week
said?
it's something.
What else have I said? No, you can't do that.
No, I didn't say no, you can't do that.
Or
But
this-
there's a kerfuffle.
I've never said, hey, this is my house. Don't put that tablecloth there. Don't put that
let's
logo
see.
on the TV.
There was a sneeze with some hand sanitizer over by the couch. Every week there's Daniel's Werbach stuff on the floor. And he's like, I live here. Every week there's something, Nick.
Yeah, every week we throw things on the floor.
But that's what I'm saying. There's a kerfuffle every week.
Well, that's human decency. You're in someone's home. You just don't, defecate on the floor and say, "Oh, well, it's not my house." I didn't know that needed to be
Now we
explained.
come down to defecation. That's
Well, there's a pleasant surprise waiting for you in the bathroom.
there always is.
Lincoln Log.
One at one point looked like a dead cow had thrown up its hay that it ate 3 years ago into the toilet, and it turned out to be Cory's unflushed grizzly
That
from
was
a
a
week
very specific reference.
from a week
You
prior.
must have stared at it long and hard.
Oh yeah,
What does that look like? Let me get right down in there.
it tasted like it. That's for sure.
Oh, God.
No, this is Cory.
Well, so as you'll see too, the other issue we took care of with our early arrival here was the screen.
Yeah, that's great.
So, and now we will be able to drag and drop things over if we need to show a reference.
Notice how he said our early arrival. He wanted to make sure that you were aware that he was early.
Oh, I was I picked up Bob exactly at 8:30.
I don't know why I've been watching Netflix downstairs in my basement. It seems like there's something burned into the screen in the background. Oh, it's a Schnozzcast logo.
You know,
It's the price you gotta pay.
it's part of the podcast.
That's what kind of TV is that?
Vizio?
No. What technology is the TV?
I don't know.
You don't know much about
What-
LED, LCD.
Oh, no, yeah, it's LCD. It's 10. I don't know. It's fucking HD TV.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. That's like back in the
So why do they
Like
why do they have
15
screensavers?
because they're fun to look at.
Ah, okay.
I mean, 15 years ago you had that problem, but you don't have that problem.
But not this.
No.
Okay.
Screensavers are literally just like, ooh, I want to see some fish floating on my screen every time I walk away.
So I'm pretty sure we have some pretty flat screen LCD TVs at work that have camera burn-ins on them.
I was gonna say
All of these televisions.
I did have a TV go out on me that was a pretty brand new. It was an LCD.
Yeah.
I mean, to its defense, I did leave it on just about 24/7. But
My old iPod or iPad gets burned in the Retina display.
How old is your iPad?
Oh, it's like 7 years.
So, okay. Let's stop talking about 7-year-old equipment. And I mean, if you got something out there that's 24/7, 365, it's probably going to be some damage. But if you're putting it up there for 2 hours once a week,
Should be okay.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, you'd be fine.
I was saying it's not going to burn it in there.
Say it again.
Not going to burn it in there.
There we go. Okay.
A little something in the back of my
Yeah,
throat.
yeah. You're trying to gargle.
little frog back there.
I'm like, what's that, Cory? And I think the other thing that came out of your great idea was there's going to be times, I can't believe it really hasn't happened as much as it has. There's going to be times where we're just not going to do a podcast. Like, you think about it, Podbean updated their interface in the last week. So now the interface is different and there's more emphasis on like, well, you're publishing a new episode. What season is that? We've never done seasons. We just number the episodes and that's it. We just keep going. But a lot of podcasts do like, oh, we're now on season 2. And season 2 goes from, May 1st until December 1st. And then they take a break and they literally don't do any podcasts for like weeks or maybe months. And then they come back. We've never done that. It's obviously something we can talk about, but there's going to be times where we're like, okay, you got to work, you got the campus, I'm out of town or something like that, and we don't do those podcasts. What do we do in that time? I have one episode that I did with Anton and the other knuckleheads that is saved and probably not really interesting unless you want to hear a whole lot of really drunk guys for an hour. But what we could do...
Isn't that what they get when they tune in on a regular basis?
Right. Yeah,
No, this puts us to shame.
People are like, okay, guys. Like, all right.
They're almost incomprehensible burbling is what it is for over an hour. Which is still funny, but it's not so... You come away with it going like, all right, I won't listen to that one again. Which is really not what you want from a podcast.
Which sucks because Phil has a very good radio voice and podcast voice.
Yeah.
And I think what they got stuck on was a lot of inside stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That people didn't really, like, if you weren't a part of your group,
right,
no one could relate to, or they just kind of be out of the loop and be like, I have no clue what they're referring to.
They were like we were in the first 10 episodes.
Right.
Because they'd never done it before. They were just having fun. They're like, oh, Bob will fix this. Oh, he'll make it sound great.
I can't change your words.
Yeah. And believe me, I was trying to like, okay, so you can't get that close to the mic, you need to get closer, blah, blah, blah. No one listened to me.
Of course not.
And that's how that went. But, so the idea is, we could do a greatest hits. And certainly Drew and Mike have done this. Like, I could literally put together a 1-hour episode where, like, I'd introduce it, and then I'd basically string together little clips and snippets.
Best of.
Snippets and clippets. To quote Nick Bader from last weekend, of the best of Cory. The best of Nick. Absolutely. Because that Mount Everest story that we talked about last week is a great example. There's a lot of good comedy bits in that little section. So I think we could definitely do it. And that would be a great way to like, okay, if we really wanted to like take a week off for whatever reason, let's say you had the ox roast. I know that's on a weekday,
on
like
Thursday,
at noon,
Yeah.
like a bunch of fucking idiots.
until 6.
Right. But
Wait,
if it was
who are the idiots?
people who are scheduling an ox roast on a weekday at noon.
Oh, wow.
But there might be something else where like somebody's got a party, birthday. Like I think it's a great idea. I hadn't really given it a lot of thought up until then, but it came from discussions about your Instagram post. So
Wow.
yeah, I'm telling you,
Really had a ripple effect.
it did, which is a great thing. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Does anybody else here listen to Elvis Costello?
No.
I know Cory was like, who?
Oh, I just know, like, as I told you from the Austin Powers
Yes, him and Burt
cameo
Bacharach.
that he had in Austin Powers. So
Right.
That wasn't Austin Powers. That was some lady in politics that dressed up like
I'm missing.
Go on, Nick. Explain.
that. Oh, you guys didn't see her that post?
No.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that.
All right.
Okay,
It's political. I can't talk about
yeah,
it.
there we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was telling Cory I got the other thing. It was a long week for me. I'm sure it was a long week for everybody. But in the middle of the week, I got kind of stuck in like a rabbit hole on Elvis Costello.
As one does.
I can't even remember how it happened, but I know what it was. There's a show on FX called Legion, which I'm not recommending as a pick of the week because I'm really not sure if anybody else besides me would like it. But it was based on a Marvel comic series where the character is supposed to be a mutant. It's kind of like an X-Men kind of a deal, but he's supposed to be like the most powerful mutant that's ever lived, but he doesn't know it, and he can't control it. And so they went for 3 seasons, and I had watched the first 2 seasons and then the first half of the 3rd season, and then I got caught up with something else, moved away from it, didn't watch it for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Like I can't finish it. And I'm kind of like, oh, all right, well I'll just move on. But after a while, I'm like, well, I really want to know how it ends
I
now.
want to know what happened.
Yeah, and I can't get it anywhere because FX just stopped airing it. They took it off the air. And so it was about a week ago or so. I happened to be looking, and I left it on my watch list for Hulu because I knew, I'm like, if it ever comes back, I'll be able to tell. And sure enough, it popped up that list. I'm like, the last season of The Legion is here. So I started watching it. It was, I think and I ended up finishing it, and it's one of the weirdest shows I've ever seen in my life. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to anybody. I wouldn't recommend it as a pick of the week because you'd have to really like mind fuck weird shows that like break out into musicals for no reason and have trippy psychedelic graphics and the plots that are really, really tough to follow. You have to love all that shit. But the second to last episode, they did break out into song again for no reason, and it was "Peace, Love, and Understanding" by Elvis Costello. I'm like, oh, I love that song. And like 4 hours later, I had downloaded half of Elvis Costello's catalog on my MacBook and hooked it up to the speaker, and it was like 3 in the morning. And I found some live album he did it live at Hollywood High. If anybody's a Elvis Costello fan out there,
For all the Elvis Costello fans.
you can go to the Apple Store and you can download. It's called Live at Hollywood High by Elvis Costello. If you like Elvis Costello, it's fucking brilliant. It's like 1979, and he and his band he's with the Attractions. He's at the top of his game, and the audience is super psyched he's there. It's a great show.
The switchboards are lighting up. We have Joe calling in on line 2.
Joe, what can I help you? Is there something you want to say? Oh, you son of a bitch! I knew.
Joe's thoughts on Elvis Costello.
He hung up. He just hung up. I don't understand.
Well, you would think it was from the late '70s that it would be right down Joe's alley, but I don't. I'll have to ask him.
Right down the alley?
He would at least at this point in time have something to say.
He's always got something to say. It's either going to be like, oh, Elvis Costello used to play with G.G. Allen, and I love Elvis Costello.
One podcast. That's all I ask. Just one podcast.
I
don't talk about G.G. Allen.
I don't think you're ever going to get that.
God.
Yeah, so Elvis Costello live at Hollywood High, I highly recommend. And that's my. I remember, I'm like, I gotta go to fucking bed. I can't listen to hours of Elvis Costello. I gotta work in the morning. So, yeah.
All right.
But
All right,
but
so-
you know who didn't have to work in the morning and really appreciated it? Elvis Costello.
Oh, Elvis is hard as working man in late 70s New York. I'm sure he was doing something with Burt Bacharach or Mike Myers.
There's two way different eras.
I think his wife is Diana Krall.
Who would be known for
She's a pianist.
a what?
Pianist.
Oh, okay.
I should put the T in the end of that. It's not jazz. Maybe it's like light jazz.
Is that
Like-
a genre you just made up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take the credit for that.
Sure.
You probably hear it in like doctors' offices, dentist waiting rooms.
Oh God, I hate that kind of music.
Oh,
I didn't say I was a big fan. I'm just saying his wife is famous, and that's what she does.
I will tell you, the dentist
She's also
office.
very rich.
Well, of course. The dentist office that my sister works for.
Mhm.
They went. They took a different spin on the old waiting music.
Yeah, what do they do?
It's very club-esque.
Yeah. Old
And
school hip hop,
no,
Kool Moe Dee.
like current club songs, like just the beats of them,
I don't understand what you're saying.
So instrumental, no vocals.
all instrumental.
Okay.
I don't know what current.
So there's like a
sounds like.
Well,
that's all constantly in the waiting room.
basically,
That's like
oh,
2001 club songs.
not
You
only
didn't say what era they're from.
And
Shit
my-
on my club
He
song.
said recent. He said recent.
well, and mind you,
Recent is a very vague term. So
it's not only in the waiting room; it's in every
essential.
room that you're in because they don't have TVs.
I can't escape this club
Wait,
music.
no TV.
They don't have TVs.
What kind of a psycho dentist office is this?
Hold on.
Well, okay, hang on. There's a big backstory behind who owned the office prior to the doctor that owns it now that I go see.
Mhm.
I'll give you guys that story when we're not on the air. I did ask Callie if I could bring it up, and
She said no.
there was some
Some
touch and go to it.
Yeah, as I figured. Okay.
So I won't bring up, but there was a prior owner, and that dentist made it very club-esque. Not only just the music, but the entire feel of the
But
place.
they don't own it anymore.
No, she does not. But she put. I mean, it's a nice place. It's not like you go in there and
What
you're
does
like,
that have to do with it?
well, there's no reason to change anything around right now.
Yeah,
It's a-
because there's club music and no televisions.
Yeah, that would be pretty easy to change.
Yeah.
Click. Wait, hold on.
no, I feel as if
Inject, the CD tray comes out. Here, Simone,
I
take
feel
your
as-
CD back.
Do
We're
they have highlights magazines?
no, they have something even better that I've actually gotten, and I might steal the book one day from there. It's
Okay, I don't know if you should be saying this.
oh, that's fine. They'll know where to come. It's a
My
historical.
home.
Yes,
Great.
there's the book.
Right.
Oh, I left it at Nick's house.
It's a historical. And I don't know why I'm winding myself up for this one, but it's a historical picture book of downtown Detroit, and has a picture from.
Was it made by you?
I wish I'd be making some money off that, but on the one side it has a back in the day picture. I mean, they're all from different years.
Very official.
Yeah,
It's an official
That's
back
what
in the
they
day label on it.
that's right.
What does this say at the bottom? It just has back in the day quotations.
And then on the counter page, there's the current modern day picture of what is currently there. And then they give a little blurb at the bottom of what the history of the site is. So I think that's as much as I like highlights
I'm not your
magazines.
fucking waiter here.
I love Highlights magazine.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Goofus and Gallant.
Goofus and was that actually part of highlights?
There's a strip that was in there every month.
Oh shit.
Careful over the Berber carpet.
Oh yes. My apologies.
All right, so this might be the longest we've ever gone without a shot. So I'm at 40 minutes.
You guys didn't do one?
We did one before
Okay.
before we started.
As you
You
should.
have not done one yet.
No. They frown upon that in law enforcement.
Which,
We're-
since you've been down here in the basement,
since
Cap-
you've been
Captain Smartass.
I feel like you guys need more.
Oh, we do. That's why I pulled
That's why we're doing one right now.
it happens for a reason. So.
Right.
All right.
Get all these.
If you're new to the podcast, we are toasting now. So if you've got something to drink, some sort of booze, some sort of beer, some sort of libation, cocktail, hooch,
Moonshine. White lightning.
Cheers.
If a face could roll its eyes, that's what Nick would have just done. So here's to you.
And here's to Nick.
Here's to Nick.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh boy.
All right. So,
By the way, I wanted to say well done on the. I'm not sure where you got it, and I'm not really sure I want to know, but well done on the shot glass.
Presentation.
oh, thanks. So, I had actually got that like 2 years ago
Okay.
at Ray's.
I told Bob I couldn't remember if it was Ray's or if it was
I don't
elsewhere.
remember if he bought it,
No, I don't.
was given it, or happened to acquire it.
I don't acquire things.
Okay.
I'm given things. So I remember at Ray's, the pig roast a couple years ago. I talked to Angie and I said, hey, we really like Fireball. If the Fireball reps come through like they do, instead of a couple, chintzy Mardi Gras beads by the time we get there, if they have anything good, can you set at least one of them aside? And so I got there, and she actually handed me a menagerie of things from Fireball.
I'm
And
sure you didn't imagine that.
I did not.
The imaginary menagerie?
This was a unimagined menagerie, and so she gave me
Well played.
2 of those that I wanted for my bar at the time. That was in its infancy and is probably in the same state it is now
It's
that
still,
it was 2 years ago. That's
still
funny.
a little toddler.
And so I thought, I'm going to hang on to these for my bar. They're so nice, And I thought, well, after I built my bar outside, I could set one of them outside. And I did, and it's like discolored from the sun after 1 year, as things do. And I put this one off kind of to the side, and I just happened to stumble upon it yesterday. And I thought, wow, we could set this on the podcast table and a nice little shot holder.
I did tell Bob when we came downstairs and everything was pre-set up and nicely laid out as if we had a turn-down service for a hotel room.
I spent a lot of time cleaning last
You
night.
did walk through the kitchen. It was like a freshly pampered prostitute. You just walked through. It smelled like roses and lavender.
I don't know if it smelled like roses and lavender.
That was just from Ian being here.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's that supposed to mean? I'm a fireman now. I smell manly.
Oh, goodness. But I did make the comment to Bob. I said, I think this is the most prepared Nick's ever been for the podcast, and he's not even currently here.
Because I know I couldn't do anything.
yeah, he definitely, absolutely made sure that everything was ready. Like, the only thing we could do is fuck it up from here. Like, he laid the table. He's like, well, if you want to shit on it, I guess that's your business, but I did everything I could do.
Yeah, well, as you have a busy week, as things occur, there's dishes in the sink, there's stuff everywhere, and I had a shit ton of laundry I had to do. So when I came down to do the laundry, I'm like, all right, thank you.
Sorry, that was the one.
I'm a little bothered by that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you?
I saw that right when you came down.
Oh,
And
Cory?
the sign?
yeah, I was so worried about everything that was actually going to be on camera.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And finding the sensor for the LEDs.
One down there, one over here.
Yeah, I clearly found that out.
No, I tried to spoon feed as many things as I could. So I started, there was like a snowball effect. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to be here. And they're going to be sitting in a dark room with this light as their only form of light. I'm like, I couldn't find the thing and the remote. I didn't know where it was. And everything's just going to no offense to anybody that's not a channel.
Oh,
And,
We'll censor that one out.
Yeah.
Will we?
And
Try to remember.
and I was like, let me, and I just got on a roll, and I just started doing everything, and for like probably a good 3.5 hours, going around, and I'm like, the bathroom down here hadn't been cleaned, and the towel's been the same towel since we started doing it here, and I'm like, this is disgusting, man, and I just needed to get things together, and all I kept thinking of was my motivation was the frozen toilet bowl ice cube at Bob's house, and I'm like,
That was your motivation?
this isn't Bob's house. This is Nick's house, and we're gonna get this. I'm just kidding. That was not my motivation. But it paints a strong picture when Cory says that he peed on top of it to melt it. No, that wasn't. But I wanted everything obviously to look nice for you guys. So
You did. It was everything was perfect. it was like we went to a banquet, and all the servers were like, "Mr. Rankin, right this way, please."
Here you go, sir.
You don't understand because I mean it went even.
I
further.
don't understand.
It went
Again. Stop making me feel shitty about this.
No, but what I'm saying
you
is
wouldn't understand all the work
I
put in.
No. I had timers on my phone because I assumed Danielle was going to be here.
Right.
The timers were turn the heat on. This was 45 minutes before you guys should arrive. You know, because I'm like, you guys are going to show up and it's going to be 64 degrees, and she's going to be like, it's so cold. And then there was another one. Turn those lights on because they'll never figure out how to do that. So I remotely,
I noticed that too.
remotely turned those lights on, and I'm like, turn that scent thing on upstairs because it's a guy's house and it smelled like a guy all week.
We weren't upstairs. It was a matter of 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds of us being upstairs.
What is
like,
that?
Because I come
Tell me
home,
what you think that means.
because I come home like some days through the week and I'm like, ooh, like what is
I
that?
always go in that corner and I break wind.
No,
Every time I break wind, I go in that corner.
Get home and pee right in that corner.
I find that I've been like throwing stuff away in the same trash under the sink for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Cory and Don and I got super drunk and made this cheese bread, and we threw it down in here, and now it's decomposing at the bottom.
In the trash in the bathroom?
No, like in the kitchen or something.
Oh God. Okay.
But that has to be emptied and everything, you know. So it's just yeah.
So you're talking about normal house maintenance. Then.
Yeah.
Right. It just sounds like all of it caught up with you, like, and you did it all in one shot.
Oh, I did it. Yeah. No, there was no catching up during the week.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we appreciate it because everything was like, I'm like, oh man, he really took the time to make sure, like, look, if they can get in the house, then they should be fine.
Literally.
But tell them what you found with the key.
Yeah. Why all the paper towel?
No,
on
it's okay because I get notifications when you guys are there.
Yeah, I know. I
not
figured you were
that.
listening.
We know you're spying on us every minute we're here.
No.
It was before we got in.
No, so it's like, I'm running back and forth, and we were super busy today, and I got a Kuna notification, which is the front door cam, Kuna,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh,
So it's a piece of IKEA furniture.
I guess the guys are at the house, so I pull it up, and I'm like, let's see if they like my dog bark thing, and sure enough, Bob was a little bit scared.
Like is not the word I would use. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I see him walk up, and it's like, he's like, really? A dog barking through your light, your doorbell?
You would never have a dog in this domicile.
So that was enough. So I changed it back to what it used to be because that's all I wanted.
Tell Nick what you found when you went to get the key.
Oh no, I saw him. He discovered it.
I want him to tell it.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking to you.
Oh, well, apparently not. This whole
You
podcast,
weren't even
so-
here. I want him to tell the story of how he found the key, not how you found the key.
So
Yeah,
I go in the backyard and in the undisclosed location I was told that the key would be at. Sure enough, it was. Well, and then here's a funny little part that I don't know.
I'm not hiding the key in the backyard anymore. So.
We're gonna hide it in the street.
Oh my God!
We know it's in the backyard.
He took the key out of the
The spare
original
key,
hiding place to hide it in a secondary hiding place.
The spare key
just
left
Cory,
just for us.
Which now he doesn't even want to use that anymore. He's like, well, my secondary hiding place is gone now. Dude, I gotta find a tertiary hiding place.
I
I'm
gotta
gonna have to buy
box.
a new set of property just to hide my key on a new plot of land.
You will now need my thumbprint to get in my home.
That's right. So grabbed the key and Bob was waiting at the back door. And I'm like, have we not?
I was standing right behind you, and you said front door. I'm like, okay.
I'm like, let's go to the front door.
I didn't know what key was there. Look, I told Nick specifically, I want nothing to do with the key. You work it out with Cory. I don't know what key you gave.
Bob want in the house.
No, fuck you, dude. I was standing right behind you, and you go, got the key, front door. I'm like, okay, that's it. But when you took the key,
In my mind, it was you were
I know
waiting
in
in the
your
back
mind,
door.
you're like, oh, this is hilarious. But that's not what happened.
Hey, Cory, how come the door's locked back?
He takes the baggie with the key and pulls out.
We get to the front door, open up the little Ziploc,
Yeah.
and pull out what I figured was a key, wrapped in a miles long worth of paper towel.
Yeah.
And
Why?
well, I don't know if it was because Nick was like, "Oh, if someone finds this bag, they won't think there's a key in here," or Nick just feels that metal can't get wet. So we were looking for you to weigh in on why you wrapped it up in so much paper towel.
So I did watch the video from the front door camera
Exactly.
after I got the notification and heard all this conversation, and Bob was right.
that if someone found the baggie, they'd be like, "Oh, this is paper towel."
There's no key in there.
Initial appearances. Yeah, initial appearances. What criminal mind could figure this out? You know, they check the heel and they keep on going. They don't look at the toe.
Right. I walk my dog and I see Nick coming and going from work, and he looks like the kind of guy who would hide a key there. But this is clearly just a baggie with a paper towel in it, so it can't be a key in there.
With some real heavy paper towel.
Yeah, but think about this. You're moving some things around, and you find a small wet bag with paper towel. Are you going inside to discover? Because most people are like, I don't know what the fuck this is. That's disgusting. I'm not touching that.
I and obviously I see where you're going with it, which fair enough.
Yeah.
But
I might as well put it in a diaper.
I think to play it off a little better, rather than actually wrapping it and folding it, I would have actually like crumpled up the paper towel around it, and then maybe wet it down a little bit and like scrunched it in the bag.
No, I don't want a rusty key.
It's not sitting there for years.
All right.
Well, regardless, you found it. You got in. You didn't break it. You went in the right door. So far, I'm blown away.
Well, you know, when you have the right person handling the key.
That was by design. I'm like, no, you worked out with Cory.
As
in the house.
As a matter of fact, yes.
I have an 0-1 record with getting in Nick's house.
If I didn't know where the key was at and Bob had to have come here by himself, he would not have been able to get in the house because he did not even know the location.
No, because I didn't want to.
Bob would be jamming it into the mortar and between the bricks on the side of the house. Why is the door not opening?
Wouldn't even come. I'd be at home right now.
Wouldn't even go.
I'd be at home right now.
Like I said, I have to invest in some. You know, it's almost time that I have to invest in smart locks.
So I would say some Bluetooth locks that you can give passes to.
But to me that seems. I feel like that there's an app for everything, and I feel like really, I mean, all it's going to take is like a scrambler app that they can hold it up to the lock and it's just going to undo.
Yeah, well, there's also something called a foot that someone could just boot down your door if they wanted to.
Oh, not my door.
So
I have parameters in place for that.
He's
be more than a foot, buddy.
He's
the door frame that who installed?
He's prepared for just such an emergency.
I drove about 25 screws, star-bit screws, about 5 inches into the entire door frame, including the clasp that goes over.
What are you trying to show there?
What? I'm making the letter C with my hand. Is that a vagina to you? I don't understand. What is that? Like an asshole? I'm not sure what. That's a letter C.
Just wondering.
Well,
could be either.
But yeah, so it's going to take several kicks.
that's a lot of severals.
Yeah, it's good info to know though. A lot of people don't do that. Doors usually just have the little tiny baby screws, and you can kick
screws.
You can kick right through it, and it'll just bust out the pine. But
pine, getting fancy with the door frame.
I think that's the least fancy of what is it going to be made of balsa?
God, I'd like one of those doors
mahogany.
with the fancy wood.
Right.
I could see Ian doing that with his door frames.
Oh, I love the mahogany.
There we go.
All the fancy woods.
I don't actually. My whole house doesn't have wood because it burns too easy. I'm a fireman.
And if you blow real hard, it'll just fall right over.
He did actually reach out this week and appeal to my infinite wisdom, because he said
Of course he did.
Since you guys manage the Schnozzcast page, he said for about an hour and a half now, he said they told me that I could be in charge of the city's fire department Facebook page, and he said I'm trying to share our golf outing on my personal page. And I can't figure out how.
Oh, Ian.
And for an hour and a half, I'm sitting here because it keeps recognizing me with the dual pages as the city's page.
Oh.
So it's trying to share to the city. And I said, yeah, we have a workaround for that.
Yep.
And I told him, like, within 2 seconds, he's like, do you understand how long I've been trying to do this?
Did he volunteer for this position?
I have no idea. I don't know the specifics on it, but.
Okay.
Oh, good old Ian.
Oh, little one.
So Nick Bader, did you happen to watch your movie for the Gentleman's Agreement?
No.
Wow. Okay.
I know. I'm sucking it up on these gentlemen's agreements, but
I know she's not here, but did Danielle happen to watch your movie?
She did.
She did. Is she coming or is she not coming?
No, she's not going to make it tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why have we not talked about that? I just assumed you knew.
Well, he told me when we got here.
I honestly didn't know until the last minute when I was.
He said, "Well, she might come."
Is that why you were on time?
Yes. No, she had. She
Wait,
had a.
so you're saying we've now identified the reason why Cory's been generally late?
Exactly.
According to Cory, that's why he's always been late. She was
You always got. You have to have good scapegoat.
she was applying the Aquanet.
And what
for
better
too long.
time to do that with them when she's not here?
Correct.
Yourself.
All the Aquanet,
Aquanet?
Everything comes full circle.
Oh man.
a lot of teasing.
She had a friend's party that we went to for a little bit, and I graciously bowed out early. And when I was saying my byes to her, she said, "Oh, I'm going to try to make it."
What is Cory's version of graciously bowing out early? Is it like, look over there?
Oh, well, that would imply that something is happening quickly.
Right.
I did say bye to everyone in the entire room. So
Look over there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Cory, damn it! 5 feet is too far.
I've shuffled too far to hear. I can't hear you anymore. Still shuffling.
just keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
He has a very limited range of motion, so he couldn't turn around very quickly. Because the neck just, the neck. It's not like an owl.
Oh no. Oh no.
Like a gerbil.
All right. So let's do that then. We'll postpone gentleman's agreement until next weekend.
Yeah, I'll get on board with it. I will.
Krabby's so happy right now that
Why?
that we've all, well, not that you and I have failed, but
Oh no. You and I finished last week.
right.
We've been done with that. But that way, she's done. You and I are done. You got another week,
Okay.
and then. But next week, there's no excuse. Like you got to get it done.
Yeah,
And
I'll
then
get it done.
Maybe we can get Nick and Krabby on the phone to talk about theirs right here. Zaleski.
Oh.
Zaleski.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We could set that up.
Yeah, I think so. We were supposed to get Todd
Todd,
on the
yeah.
phone tonight, but he had a last minute
Rescheduling.
mold inspection to prep for. So
Sounds like an excuse.
that sounds like a personal problem.
Right.
But yeah, it sucked. He was like, I really wanted to. I'm like, all right, we'll rain check. We'll do it again.
So
All
we're at an hour right now.
I got 58 minutes and 17 seconds. So real quick, can I get this in the next? Yeah, I think I can. I think I can get this in. I had it was a article that I when I saw that really gave me the chuckles.
I see that.
Yeah.
There's New York is now they're trying to put a new program out for parking violations. They're really, really trying to crack down on like, hey, all these people with all these parking violations, you need to pay your tickets
Okay.
and
Good
stop
luck with that, New
and-
York.
Right now,
and
we mean it.
and stop double parking. Like there's a really serious problem in the city, like downtown, with people double and triple parking.
Oh, I don't
people
doubt
can't
it.
get through, and roads are blocked and that sort of thing. So they have hired an ambassador to sort of be the face of their new campaign for bringing people, out to their cars so they don't sit there in the street and block traffic.
I'm very interested to see where this is going.
Rudy Giuliani.
No, he is he's a well-known rock star from the 80s, and has incorporated his name.
Hang on.
into-
Keep on giving us some clues here. I want to see if we can figure this out.
Okay. All right. So
D.
when,
Snyder.
that's a good guess. When people do that, they take their cars and they drive down a street where there's cars on either side parked, and there's nowhere for them to park. So they stop the car and they stand. The car stands there. There's another word for when a car is just standing there, not moving, but it's running.
Idle.
Yeah.
Idle Minds.
Yeah.
Lead singer.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
There's no group called Idle Minds, but you're really close.
Billy Idol.
Billy does an idol. That's the
Billy doesn't idle.
that is the program.
Well played, Nick. Well played.
Oh boy.
So he's literally put his face and recorded ads where he's like, "Boy, Billy doesn't idol."
Oh man.
And he's
Is he Australian?
trying to it's a horrible one.
You my David Bowie.
I'll tell you what. This just makes me want to drive to New York, and
Would you try 55? Oh,
and just Billy Idol on every street
Well played, sir.
and get as many tickets as possible, and then drive back here and never pay those.
They cold called him to see if he wanted to do it.
Oh, he's clearly not doing too much these days if he's getting cold calls.
And what do you think he said?
Yes.
Boy, I'll do it. It still sounds.
Yeah, very,
Yeah,
very,
it sounds like Crocodile
Damn
Dundee.
it.
very Australian. Nick, can we get a proper British accent on that?
I don't know how Billy Idol sounds. But
He was at a press conference with Bill de Blasio talking about kickstarting this campaign, and he had the mayor quoting his song "Eyes Without a Face," trying to be funny on the stage. It was just
Oh, this
the most
sounds so
cringeworthy
terrible.
thing. Right? It's horrible,
Yeah.
horrible. But you get Billy Idol's one of those guys where he can do no wrong, really. Like enough time has passed where like he's just one of those grand statesmen of like '80s rock. Right? Is it just me? It might just be me.
no, yeah.
Looking around the room, I feel like
Yeah, I think it's-
I'm feeling pretty alone here.
See, because to me, I feel like it would be a better campaign if they showed him in the driver's seat with the car off, and he was like, "It's a nice day to start again," you know, and then he moved the car.
You know, they might have done that.
I-
He's going to be on billboards. He's going to be in television and radio ads through the city and social media.
This has got to be way longer than a minute 30 seconds. So
To go along with Nick's idea real quick,
102. That's fine.
I was thinking more along the lines of Foreigner and double parking.
Okay. Okay. That would have been a good guess.
yeah,
That would have been a real good guess.
Double vision.
But- But so name someone from Foreigner who would be on that stage with Bill de Blasio.
No one.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Right. That's why you got Billy Idol. Then they fucking cold call him. He's like, "Yep, I'm in."
Times are tough.
Right.
see, I would do urgent.
But that would be an all-purpose for anything. though.
Urgent. Just you wait and see.
that would be very very all purpose.
Right.
Urgent. Move your car for me.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back in about 10 minutes. Please join us then.
See you in a second.
And we're back.
Right.
Oh, does that mean we're back? All
I think
right.
We're back.
That's wonderful back music.
Back music. I feel like that's a specific category of tunes they play in the strip club.
The old back music. Well, I think to welcome us back as well, along with that magical tune. Time for another Schnozzcast Schnott.
Remind me because I gotta put something on one of the buttons there for some shot music.
What would be your ideal shot music?
Ooh. If I could find an MP3 of some wino trying to like open a bottle of wine, just sort of trying to be like, "Man, if I could only get this open."
That is a very niche audio
Well,
clip.
you never know.
I think in
It's,
one of the
dude,
first
it's the internet.
one of
Anything is out there.
one of the first couple episodes, you were making some noises into the microphone when Joe was prattling on about.
You know, you're probably right. That'd be the place to pull it from. All right, we're doing this Schnozzcast. Not.
Cheers.
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 Ooh.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Woo! I love how we used to make a big production out of doing a shot like that. We'd get everybody involved. We'd get the listener involved, the viewer involved. And they were like, "Hey, doing a shot. Glug, glug, glug." That was great.
Now we don't care.
Yeah, now we don't care.
It's all about us.
Right.
Oh, boy.
So, Cory, are you going to be taking the place of Danielle for the word box?
No.
No.
What the fuck was that?
Nick's dryer kicking on.
These clothes aren't dry. How dare you turn it off?
Your dryer just kicks on indiscriminately.
I suppose.
I sense some wet clothes.
I was gonna say that's the smartest dryer I've ever
More
seen in my entire
power.
life.
Right.
More power, rabbit.
So for the second half,
Yeah. Nick, would you like to do the work?
As I like to call it, the backside.
Oh, God.
oh, more backs.
Again, how many
More
back
backside
references
comments.
can you get in less than a minute?
Oh, no, that's not, this store isn't like that. It's called Back in Business.
Oh, that's 3. Right. These always happen at 3s.
Good vertebrations.
Wow.
It's called the lumbar yard.
Okay. Stop.
We'll stop that.
No, we can't do that. We can't. I feel like we'd be.
I mean, it is Danielle's word box.
Yeah,
so
we can't do that.
We can skip out on
Not even
this.
a box.
We can't do that.
Oh, Danielle's word
Look,
fire belts out.
if you weren't going to do a gentleman's agreement review without the guy present who gave you the,
I'm not.
yeah,
I
then why would we
refuse.
do Daniel's word box if she's not here?
We don't have to.
Yeah, let's move on.
So I will touch on the new angle of the Facebook Live. It is
You want to talk about the
It is amazing.
into the backside.
In the
Well,
backside, I'd like to talk about a new angle.
It will be amazing as long as there's no buzzing. So if someone can come on and let us know if
That's
there's
exactly
no buzzing.
What the ladies love to hear.
No
It'll
buzzing.
be amazing as long as there's no buzzing.
That is correct.
You have to be sober as can be.
Just let it
What do you mean you want the lights on?
baby, just trust me on this one.
But I've never done that angle before. Oh my god, I thought that voice was coming from Cory. I'm like, what the fuck is going on and how did you
I
just
don't-
make that happen?
It's
not easy being green.
That's the only voice.
Like
the
colors.
Bob can Kermit the Frog very well.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's his one go. That's his go-to,
But it's either that or Ray Romano.
which is basically
Deborah. Oh.
Kermit the Frog.
Deborah. They all sound very. Hello. They sound like learning impaired Muppets.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I will take that compliment, sir, all the way to the bank.
Okay.
Oh well, thank you.
We're getting sounds great.
Are we? From who?
Gina.
I was going to say your guess is as good as mine on that
All
one.
right.
Gina, if you could go ahead and give us a
Thanks, Gina.
pronunciation of that.
Give us a
Well,
okay symbol.
I was going to say that would work too. Well, no, her last name.
Oh, okay. I'm
Less bomb.
sure it's pronounced exactly like it looks.
The V is silent. It's last bomb.
I could see where that would work.
Yeah. Good. Well, we're sounding good again. Once again, somebody, names will not be said, had to come in and save the day.
Oh, for God's sake!
Just saying.
Well,
Or if you had to ballpark the amount of time we spent this podcast with Nick patting his own back, what would you give it there?
Talking about backs again.
Like a minute. Would you say 87 minutes? Would you say 140 minutes?
Out of all
62 episodes.
62 episodes,
Let's figure
averaging.
average of 2 hours per episode. So I'm not sure what's going on here.
He's trying to tell me not to say it. I would say.
I can see what you're doing.
So let's say we've done 1,500 hours of podcasting.
Is that, I'm no math whiz.
Neither am I.
Okay.
That's a complete.
Let's say 60 times 2 is 100. Is 1,200? No, it's 120.
Math and logic taking a huge hit on this
120
podcast.
hours. 1,500 hours, dude. 120 hours of audio.
Oh god.
And
I'm-
then
no, I'm-
120, how many minutes do you think?
Oh, I was going over all the episodes.
I'm already shutting
Yeah,
down.
60 episodes times 2 hours. It's 120 hours.
So
Okay.
when did you stop listening to the guys? Well, they were doing math, and
Well, they all remember the last time we did math when we tried to take 7 people and give them all a gentleman's agreement in a randomized way.
that wasn't math.
Yeah, it was math.
That was just a
It
kerfuffle.
did not go well.
It was just a kerfuffle.
They know. That's where the comedy comes
I was thinking that
in. Ooh, they're doing math again.
when you referenced math, it would be Cory figuring out his own age.
That is another form of math
no
that
clue.
Cory's never been able to do.
Well, how old were you in 1990?
he's like, well, the Apollo moon landing was on a Thursday, and I think that makes me 14.
It was that time I had my first cookie. It was May 5th. I was 7 years old.
That's right.
Come on, you play along with this shit. You built something out of nothing for Mount Everest, and you can't play along with a fucking cookie when you were 5.
That's when I first learned I shouldn't climb up on top of the counter.
Oh, well,
Corys don't climb unless it's Everest.
that's right.
Bumbles don't. Bumbles bounce.
Oh, like, you talking about the actual Bumble ball?
No.
Oh, damn it.
No.
Because that was a great toy from childhood.
Are you thinking the thing that vibrates around on the ground?
Had all the little pegs on it.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called? The Bumble
It was
ball?
called
How
Bumble
did
ball.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I had no clue that's what it was called?
Those were pretty
I've
sweet.
seen it. Yeah, I didn't know what
I thought those were for dogs.
The original idea was
Is it
probably
because
for a dog.
They were filled with peanut butter?
I don't know.
Corey,
but
was yours filled with peanut butter?
Corey's like, I'm listening.
He's like, I'd love to just lick the peanut butter out of that Bumble ball.
Yeah, come to think of it, my parents kind of treated me more like a dog than a child.
Go get it.
Yeah.
Go on.
Go on.
Had you sleep it on dog blankets?
Oh, that was you and Christy.
No. Chris and I did not sleep on dog blankets.
Oh, don't worry. They're not liver snaps. They're Slim Jims. He chases them all around the house.
He pats around this little ball and it knocks him out every now and again. He chews on
Right.
him. Yeah, no, that was you, not you and Christy sleeping on a dog bed, putting my sister to sleep in a dog bed,
Yeah.
thinking it was her crib of sorts.
Exactly. Look at that. Look at that haze. I feel like I'm looking over the San Francisco Bay or something.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. What can we say?
Good Lord.
You
Yeah,
want
so
us to watch this baby?
The story was the Red Wings were in their first Stanley Cup playoff, like games, like final round for the championship in like 41 years, right? Was it 41 years?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because it was their first their big comeback.
97, right?
Correct.
97. So spring of 97, and Keegan was a baby.
Keegan would have been 3.
All right, so a toddler.
Yes.
So she already learned the word fuck.
Well, clearly when Bob and Christy are around.
What the fuck?
What?
Oh.
Dude, what?
Wow.
What would you? What?
Dude, okay, so going back to the Kids Kingdom days, where you and Christy...
Are you attempting to say that that Christy,
Not Christy.
because she was half Sicilian, had mastered profanity at an early age?
Well, yeah,
I
that...
don't think that's what he's trying to say.
What are you trying to say?
Well, okay, I mean, to set the scene of how we were treated when Bob and Christy were watching us as
How
children.
you were treated by your own parents?
No, by you two. Not, and this is it.
What?
The band?
Okay.
So we
That was as far as I know, that was the one and only time where we ever babysat for any of you.
Uncle Cousin.
Oh no, there was tons of times.
No, I wouldn't call taking you to Kids Kingdom so that I could get infected with some sort of coronavirus.
Coronavirus wasn't around back then,
Oh,
so
man.
Might as well have been. Was it swine flu? What was it?
Avian flu.
It was some sort of a mad cow disease of some kind.
Acid
Florida,
fest bacilli.
those ball pits.
But
Oh my god, I've never been sick in my life.
Bob and Christy took us back out of the car after our fun trip to Kids Kingdom, and for some reason we were parked way out in the back of the lot, and we got in the load of salt in the car,
Drive around the guy.
and there was this couple that had just left a restaurant from next door that were making out next to their vehicle. There was a lot of room in the parking lot, so Bob proceeded to just keep on doing circles around this couple next to their car,
I think I was loopy from the disease that I just caught.
honking
in the ball pit.
his horn, yelling out the window, "Yeah!"
I
Get it!
forgot all about that. You're right.
And I mean,
You go. Look at that.
And
Kids looking at that. Oh, let's go around again.
You had kids with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't my kids.
he had 3 young kids with him.
So you were obviously suffering from some sort of
Delirium.
listeria poisoning or leptospirosis or something like
Sure. It
that
starts with an L. I'm sure.
from the ball
It's
pit.
very close. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I was loopy from the germs.
At any point in time, did Cory like step out of line while you were babysitting him, and you had you had to give him a spanking?
I specifically remember what I remember from taking.
Because that
We took
story.
all 3 of you, right? You and Callie and Keegan.
it was probably just Callie and I.
Just you and Callie.
Yeah.
I remember having a great time and actively like climbing through the it was like up in the ceiling.
The rafters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like this big,
It's a big maze.
warehouse area that they took and
Yeah.
put all these tunnels and mazes in, and a lot of them
But you'd have to climb like a
Like
ladder.
the McDonald's toy thing.
Exactly.
just on a huge scale.
Right,
like
like
a
10
large one.
times.
Yes.
Exactly.
Are adults supposed to go in those?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anyone that was young enough to
I
make
was
their
having-
way through
I had,
there,
I had
you
a
could.
great time.
Young enough.
Well, dude, a 60-year-old person's not gonna be able to get in those tunnels
Right.
and make it through.
How old was he?
30.
I would say early
25.
Did he
30s.
get much bigger
Oh, I
from
wasn't even
30 to
married.
60?
I wasn't even married yet, so I was like probably 25.
No, because your joints aren't gonna be. You have to get on your hands
Oh, okay,
and
but
knees.
you can fit.
Yeah, you can easily fit.
Okay, you're
It's just
just-
you have to be on your hands and knees.
Right.
A lot of
Okay.
crawling, a lot of climbing.
A whole lot
Yeah,
of crawling.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I've been in those before.
yeah.
So why are you asking about it then? If you were
Because
in
I've never seen an adult go through them. That's why.
Well,
I went
that's
through
the-
them when I
that's-
was like 9.
That's the kind of attention you get from me when I take you to Kids Kingdom. Like you and I, we're gonna play together. We're gonna crawl through this whole thing because that's all he wanted.
You know,
He and Kelly like come on, Uncle Bob, and I'm like, absolutely, let's go.
You know what my favorite part of those are?
Yeah.
Like those tubes and valleys and all that crap.
Are we still talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Was when you got to the bubbled windows.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and you can look down.
You
Looking
can
out.
climb into the bubbled window and like look down, and it's
Right.
got like greasy handprints
Hi,
all over.
hi.
Oh, covered in germs and sickness.
Oh,
and
man.
Whatever. But that's the one time where your parents were like, "Oh, he's still alive. I see him.
There
How
he
you doing,
is.
Dad?"
And you're like,
Still
Still,
alive. I'll
Still
take
breathing.
another,
And
I'll
they're
take
all
another
like-
beer.
blah 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 blah. They're like talking and grabbing some pizza and stuff, and you're like, boom boom boom, and you're like hitting on the side. No one can hear you.
No, they can hear you. They can hear you.
Yeah, they.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
There's
just
kids,
choose not to hear you.
kids screaming.
Which
and
one of you idiots has that
Urine
kid
all
that's-
over-
Tell that kid to stop pounding. on the
urine
ground
all over
on the
your
plastic
knees.
glass. Yeah, I remember going in the ball pit for like a long time, crawling. I crawled through that whole fucking thing. Had a great time. And for the next 7 days, I've never been so sick in my entire life.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Chris and I were both like, we thought we were going to die. Thought we were going to die.
See,
Yeah.
I've never been that sick in my life.
and that's the funny thing is that like when you're a kid, there is nothing more fun than a ball pit.
Yeah. And
And
I
when you describe it to me as an adult, I'm like, God, that seems disgusting. Who would want to? That seems
Yeah.
so nasty.
So which I don't understand too is because as a child you should have a lower immune system, but for some reason a kid doesn't get sick from going in the ball pit.
they spend all their time surrounded by other kids who are sick and touching all sorts of germy shit. And
Well, because I think kids like,
they've got that deeper immune system, you know.
well, but I mean, it's like okay, so when you're like working in like a healthcare environment, it's not that you don't get sick. You get it's like
you
it's
build an immunity to
Yeah,
it.
when you get the flu vaccine, it's a dead strain, and your body builds immunity. to
Right.
it. So when you're constantly exposed, you eventually are fine. Kids are constantly around other kids, so
Yeah.
they don't just not get sick. They get sick a whole bunch, and then they build up immunities. So
to date the podcast, we're in the middle now of the coronavirus outbreak, which has just hit the states, and now we've got 100 people sick, 11 deaths for coronavirus. But that's exactly what's going on with coronavirus today. Is that you can catch the coronavirus, and you may not feel sick, but the problem is you're going to still go out and go to the store, and you're going to touch things, and you're going to pass that on to someone who has a compromised immune system or might be old enough where their health is not as good as yours, and that's who you're going to infect. And that's the problem with the coronavirus, is that just because you're young and healthy doesn't mean like you're not going to get it. Like that may be true, but you're just going to be a carrier because to this date, as of now, they still don't know how it's passed on. They don't know.
Well, the CDC needs to get on that.
well, the things that
part of the problem is they don't know. There's no testing. There's very few test kits. So when they go out to California, they go to Seattle or places where people have died, and they literally have like a CSI detective team that just literally helicopters into those areas, and they go in and they have to play detective to find out who did this person talk to, what did they touch, where did they go, and who did they infect, so they can try to figure out how they got infected. And there's people that are getting infected with the virus that haven't gone to China. they haven't left the house in days. They haven't been on a plane in years, and they're trying to figure out, well, how did you catch it? And that's literally their only job. And those people, in order to do that, you have to test people that are infected with it, even if they're not sick. But there's so few test kits out there that it's really kind of grim. And you realize, like, we're all kind of fucked if they don't get their shit together, because you can't possibly test all the people that have it with the low number of test kits that are available today.
But you have to imagine, like, to stop, completely stop commerce is going to be almost impossible. So,
right.
I'm sitting there packaging oranges, and I sneeze on a batch of oranges, and those go out to 15 different states.
Right.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't travel anywhere, but guess what? That worker whose family is from Middle Asia that just went there last week and didn't know he had it, sneezed on something. And now those water droplets are getting into your system because you've ingested it. So now it's somewhere. Like the CDC, the things that I read, the CDC said we're not stopping it. It's not a matter of if it's going to reach you, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
I remember that day too, because that was the day that I got the call about going out and trying to find N95 masks, and I ended up buying, between Christy and Nick and I, buying like almost 100 of them. And yeah, that's the day where they're like, it's a pandemic now. Everything that we've tried to do in China to contain it has failed. And she's got the inside track to have that information and pass it on. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do?
The only good thing that we know is that people that have died, it's unfortunate for some and fortunate for others, I guess, however you look at it. But the folk, at least what I've read, the folks that have died from it have had predisposed conditions beforehand.
Yeah,
healthy people,
compromised immune systems in some way.
Right, healthy people that don't have an existing condition have not died from it.
But there are plenty of people out there who have compromised immune systems and don't know it, that probably think they're going to be fine if they get it, but when they do, they're not. And
it's absolutely horrible. Yeah, I'm not trying to make light of it.
And it's right. It's different than the flu in that they know how the flu spreads.
Mm-hmm.
They know what how to combat it, how to lessen the chances of its spread. But this is new and we don't know. They're just trying to figure it out. And so the people that get infected, they're trying to figure out, well, how did you get it, so that we can build a vaccine for it. They're not even at that stage now.
I think
we'll have a vaccine in a couple months. I'm like, no. They don't even know how it spreads. You can't possibly have a vaccine until you figure that out.
I know the president had stated that he wanted it. He's putting all this extra funding, saying, hey, I need in a couple months,
Yeah, I think they just approved that budget.
GlaxoSmithKline and Pfizer and all these head scientists, and he said, you need to make this happen. They're like, well, the earliest we can get a vaccine is like probably 2 years.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that ain't good enough. We need one right now.
But that's because I don't know that he, not being a doctor,
right,
or a fan of reading, he doesn't understand.
Not a political podcast.
That's a fact. He doesn't quite understand like what it takes to build a vaccine and go through all the trials and double blinds and placebo tests and come up with a vaccine that gets approved. Like there's a pretty big process that goes into that. And I'm sure that they just approved the budget today, so I have no doubt that. And this is the kind of thing that cuts across party lines. This is not a partisan issue. This is not like a left versus right or rich versus poor. Like if you're out there, you absolutely could either be in the path of this virus or have family and friends that are. And it doesn't matter what you're. This is about making sure that the American people are protected. So as long as they just continue to do that, keep that in mind, then hopefully we'll get through it. But people just need to understand. If you go to Walmart or if you go to Kroger and you look at the shelves, people are like trying to pull all sorts of canned goods off the shelves to make sure that they're okay. And it's not a bad idea, because I think everybody everybody should probably have, a store of food in case something happens. Whether it's a 9/11 sort of a thing where it just like comes out of nowhere, or whether it's something like this where you're like, oh, I'm planning in case it gets worse. But people don't really, although you should do it to make sure you have it, they don't know, people who can't really afford to do it don't know whether or not they're in trouble with it. They don't know whether they should do it. And that's where you need, doctors and scientists, people who have experience with this to give us like the straight skinny on what we should be doing and, how we can prepare.
It's in Indiana now.
Is it really?
Today, first confirmed case in Indiana.
Yeah, it's really fucking close.
Yep.
I mean, there's no case in Michigan yet, but it sounds like it's knocking on the door.
Yeah, Washington, California, boom, Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Initially, they're like, okay, anybody who's been to China. Well, clearly that's not the case. And as it stands, they still don't know. Like the person that's been infected in Indiana, they've got to helicopter in there. And, the same thing happened with the lady who, I can't remember, was Seattle or California. She got infected, and by the time they got to her, she was already intubated. So she had a tube in her throat. She couldn't really talk. So it was their job to talk to all of her family and friends to figure out where she went, what she did, how she got, how she possibly could have gotten it, and they had to do that. It's literally like a CSI episode in real life. This team, that's kind of their only job. It's crazy to think about. Like what happens if somebody who's in a prison gets infected? A prisoner catches something like, whether it's coronavirus or it's something else, some new disease that we didn't. They literally have to drop into that prison and start to do all that detective work in that environment where getting people to tell you where they went, what they did, and it's got to be incredibly difficult.
Well, I'm pretty sure a prisoner could tell you where they've been, what they did for quite some time.
Not necessarily. Not if they're comatose, or not if they've lost the ability to speak, or they're otherwise incapacitated.
I was joking on the fact that they've been there for quite some time.
I'm sorry.
So I wonder, who is the coronavirus's Mary Mallon?
Help me out. Mary Mallon is
Typhoid Mary.
Oh. Well, I think the most famous one is that Chinese doctor who tried to sound the alarm pretty early, and now he's dead.
He died.
He dead.
Yeah.
He dead.
You're about to say he dead?
No, he died.
I didn't know where
his sentence was going, and I was about to say
verb tense probably.
And he's dead. And
he
then
dead.
I said, "Oh, now he died."
Yeah, he dead now.
But
he's the most famous person that I'm aware of.
But so she was an Irish cook, who infected 51 people.
She cooked as a cook.
Born in 1869
Cooking
to live to November 1938. 3 people who died with typhoid fever, and the first person in the United States identified as asymptomatic carrier of the disease, because she persisted in working as a cook, by which she exposed others to the disease. She was twice forcibly isolated by authorities and died after total nearly 3 decades in isolation.
Yeah, it's pretty scary shit.
3 decades in isolation. Could you imagine?
We are a comedy podcast, just to remind the listeners.
I was going to say this.
Dick jokes are coming. Just be patient.
Dark turn.
Be patient. The dick jokes will be here.
Do the dick jokes do anything but come?
Wow.
He said dick jokes are coming. I mean, like, what do you expect after that? Come on.
I'm just saying,
if properly massaged and
fluffed. Little fluffing.
Yeah, it's got to be fluffing. Well, that was fascinating.
Yes.
I honestly did not know that about typhoid Mary.
Oh yeah.
Not too many people do, Bob.
No, we're here to inform.
Yeah. As we just so heard from a listener, just wow.
Right.
Well, see, WoW is very vague. Is it WoW like, I can't believe these guys are still doing this? How has no one yanked them off the internet yet? Or is it more like, wow,
I don't
how
know.
could 3 people be that dumb, even with the power of the internet at their hands?
I don't know, Gina. You tell us what that comment meant.
I'm going to say it was in regards to dick jokes are coming.
Dick jokes are coming.
Yeah. Moving right along.
Moving right along. I had a. Oh.
There we go.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Nick is now in charge of the board.
I had a. Oh, that's bad. No, it's actually good news. It's good news. I had a leftover news story from last time, the ASMR story, which I could launch into if you prefer. Or I've got a much shorter one about government auctions.
We would actually probably be way more successful.
Sicilian?
Sicilian, yes. If we did just
It's a
do
podcast.
ASMR.
You want to do that? All right.
Yeah, we want you
No,
to
I'm saying
read
if
the
we-
article.
if
We don't
we-
want to talk like that.
If we actually just did ASMR.
Oh, well, maybe
Yeah.
after this we
That's-
can. Maybe after this we can.
Corey,
Let's hear it.
tell us more how we're going to do it.
Well, this is actually a great time to do this because I literally thought that if I did it last week, there's no way Danielle would have made it through that podcast.
Oh, no.
Her head would have hit the table and she would have been out cold.
And by the way, it was the dick joke that,
Yeah, no, I knew.
that got the wow.
She's
Excellent.
She's drooling on her keyboard right now, and that's Danielle, by the way.
No, that was.
No, it's not. That's Gina.
Or not Danielle's like,
Oh.
oh, Bob's been talking way too much.
All right. So let's get into this. We started talking a little bit briefly about ASMR last week. I went through just a quick introduction to it, but essentially what it is it stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, and it's essentially the response that you get from particular stimuli, which have to do with whispers and the sounds of a light touch and certain things just sort of brushing by, like a microphone, which I assume that for ASMR you're listening to it in a set of headphones. So the term was coined in 2010 by a healthcare IT consultant named Jennifer Allen, and YouTube has served as the hub of the community over the past decade. So there used to be a handful of YouTubers who were derided as fetishists to now it's pretty much a full-on movement at this point, with ASMR videos amassing billions of total views. And here's some things that you guys might not know. Oh, nice. Specifically Nick. It's inspired Super Bowl commercials, scenes in Emma Stone movies, Grammy Award-winning novels, and a W Magazine series featuring celebrities from Cardi B to Margot Robbie. And unlike most internet-driven communities and memes, the ASMR community has not only survived the ever-changing news cycle, but it's snowballed at an exponential rate to the point that it's now bordering on mainstream. So, this is an article from Rolling Stone magazine. I want to give credit where credit's due. The stimuli for ASMR can be broken down into 4 categories: touch, auditory, visual, and Bob Ross.
Hang on. Bob Ross got his own category?
His own category, according to Rolling Stone.
So basically, that would just be voice.
No.
What?
No. Well, that's not what Bob Ross is.
The brush touching the
Yeah.
canvas?
Yeah. Well, but it's not just the voice; it's the visual. It's the multimedia experience.
Oh, hang on,
that we're
no.
talking about. Yeah.
What is it? Okay, again, what does ASMR stand for?
Autonomous sensory meridian.
Oh, autonomous. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I thought you thought it was auditory, didn't you?
Yeah,
All
fuck.
right. So let me get through this, and you can.
All right, well, I'll weigh in
You
afterwards.
can jump in and shit all over it if you want. But now, this is not just Rolling Stone saying this. These are people who are big in the ASMR world, who they interviewed, as well as people who are, huge fans or proponents of it. So, hold on. Can I get a drink first? Hold
All this talking.
on. Exactly. Most people who report experiencing ASMR describe it as a feeling they've had since as early as they can remember, but never told anyone about it for fear of being judged or having people view the sensation as sexual. And that's a key component of ASMR. Sort of the fear that people don't understand. I don't understand why I'm feeling this way, and I really don't feel like other people are going to as well.
What's happening here? Oh,
But no, but no one actually put a name to the sensation until 2010 when Jennifer Allen, then a healthcare IT tech working in upstate New York, stumbled upon a 2007 forum discussion on the website studyhealth.com. There's a thread called "Weird Sensation Feels Good" that was full of anonymous posters describing what some refer to as brain tingles and others refer to as a head orgasm.
Ooh.
Which, to be honest with you, I feel like that's the part of the article where I'm like, okay, I'm in.
and I'll keep reading.
Yeah. In 2009, the very first whispering video, which is a precursor to ASMR, was posted on YouTube. The video was an audio-only clip, just under 2 minutes long, featuring a woman whispering in a British accent against a black background. Her name was Whispering Life, and the popularity of her videos prompted a few dozen other YouTubers to make their own so-called whispering videos. At the end of 2010, Jennifer Allen's Facebook group, ASMR Research and Support, had a little more than 100 members. A handful of people from the scientific community, including a serotonin researcher from Australia, had filtered in to give their own potential explanations for what was causing the so-called brain tingles. Another contingent of the group was more spiritual in nature, less interested in finding answers, and more interested in the metaphysical implications of the sensation. At around this time, many people in the group started to increasingly post whisper videos claiming that they triggered their ASMR. And creators started to use the tag ASMR when uploading videos. So now we get to the question of, is it a sexual thing? From the very beginning, most people automatically assumed that ASMR was sexual and that whispering videos were catering to a fetish of some sort. And this assumption was made by outsiders even in the early days of the community, causing those within it to become defensive. Occasionally, some users use the term head orgasms to describe ASMR, which would immediately be followed by people who immediately put a 12-page defense of how this is not sexual. And it didn't help that most of the more popular content creators, especially in the beginning, were young, attractive women. However, most of the available research on ASMR refutes that it's sexual in any way. As the community grew and they started getting hundreds of thousands of subscribers,
Oh, I don't doubt it.
it didn't take long for newer YouTubers to start orchestrating sexualized roleplay scenarios in order to get more views, which totally makes sense, right? They're going to play off of that perception that it's sexual to get clicks, to get views, and to...
Well, and you're going to have, the weird guys out there that were listening to it just for that. Because like when you started off the story about how people weren't really out there and open about it, those people that actually enjoy it and got an actual full body stimulation from it, they're not going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, this is why why we're here."
Right.
The guys that were wanting to sit behind the computer and be like, "Oh, you're hot,"
Yeah.
they're going to say that.
And it seems like a natural progression to me to go from something that sounds like a head orgasm or brain tingles to some people to, well, let's give people something that they do find sexual. If they find it sexual, then let's just bring it to the next step, right?
Right.
That is a natural progression.
There's got to be there's a market for so many sexual fetishes out there on the internet that the story usually goes like whatever you're into, you will find it. It doesn't matter how obscure or how weird. It would seem to be a natural thing that, even though the originators of this sort of genre of content, let's call it, on the internet, don't want it to be categorized as sexual. There's other people that find it sexual, so why not give them, that content?
Right.
So after years of languishing in what could be called the weird corner of the internet, they started going mainstream. So searches for ASMR on the internet grew 200%, and they've been growing consistently year over year in that respect. They even started making their way into mainstream film culture, most noticeably in the 2017 film called Battle of the Sexes with Emma Stone and Steve Carell, the one where I think she's playing the two tennis stars.
I don't think I've ever seen it. Now that you're bringing it up,
I haven't seen it either, but oh god, what was the name of the? I can't remember the name of the actual. Oh, Billie Jean King is who Emma Stone played, famous tennis.
Okay.
So that film may indeed feature the first ASMR-inspired film sequence of all time, which is a scene in which Billie Jean King, played by Emma Stone, first meets her hairdresser and future lover Marilyn, played by Andrea Riseborough. The directors worked closely together with sound mixing and post-production to add scissor sounds while she was getting a haircut, to recreate the experience of sitting in a hairdresser's chair, and instructed the actors to speak in soft voices. And so, that's probably way too much information, but the only input that there's only a couple places in this article where I would have any input, but I think that's probably one of them where, for me, when I get a haircut, it's probably the most relaxed I'll ever be. To the point where, like, I could fall asleep.
Right.
I could fall asleep in the barber chair, and there's just something about it that, when I read this article, I'm like, I've definitely experienced that when getting a haircut. Absolutely.
What, during the entire thing, or like a certain part of it? Because I'll agree with you on a part here.
I think for me, it's like around the back of the back of my neck when she's trimming around the back of the hair in the back of my neck.
So it's got to be a she.
It is a she. I have a particular girl that I go to for a haircut every time I go.
You wouldn't get the feeling if it was a guy cutting your hair.
I don't know. I might, but I've not gone to a guy to get my haircut in so long I can't remember.
For other things, though, he is going to take it. But because then the reason why I mentioned that, because there's been times where Crystal, who's now cut my hair,
right?
Crystal Shank Freeman,
Oh,
that is one of our listeners.
Okay.
Why is it a girl? Why not a guy?
Well, she's been cutting my hair since I was 12 years old, so.
That's what happened before you were 12.
Billy the Barber.
No, it's actually Henry the barber.
Oh, Henry.
He was the barber before Crystal, but
Gotcha.
You've
blacked that out of your mind.
Yeah.
So,
Oh no, Henry's a great guy, and if he's out there somewhere, which I know he still is, but I don't know if he's.
Oh God, it's horrible.
Oh no, he.
Poor Henry.
Yeah.
If he's out there.
If he's out there.
But Crystal will wet my hair down and then take like a comb to it and start like going through it. I'm like, oh, that's the greatest feeling ever. A good scalp massage.
Yeah.
So
make a note. That's another thing we need on the sound pad. It's like a Barry White song, like a oh yeah, baby.
Nope, we can't. Copyright infringement.
I'll figure it out. I'll find a workaround.
So yeah, so I'll agree with you on that point.
Yeah, something about it. I can't even really explain what it is, which I felt like was the point of this article. Like, people have a hard time explaining what it is that they're feeling. So I'm like, oh, I get it now. So brands started knocking on the door for ASMR, particularly following a landmark ad for Michelob Light Ultra Gold, touted as the first USDA certified organic beer. The ad, which featured Zoe Kravitz whispering and gently tapping on a bottle while sitting in the middle of a Hawaiian rainforest, quickly went viral. Do you guys remember that ad?
Vaguely. Now that
A little bit.
Can you pull it up?
yeah, I can.
The ad, that is.
Don't play it on here.
What's the name of it?
It's an ad. If it's on YouTube, we can play it.
What was the name of it?
There's a lot of music on YouTube we can play then.
Well, potentially, but they put it on YouTube with a workaround to somehow make sure that the recording company for the artist can't find it or can't find it in a search. But a commercial, I mean, as long as it's not labeled underneath something else, you could kind of tell. You could tell what it is.
So anything that's on YouTube, we can play.
I asked Cory this question weeks ago.
Yeah, no,
If it's publicly available, can we play it?
yeah. There's no-
Otherwise, YouTube would have taken it down, right?
Correct. Because so basically, what it is, like, if we have original content that we're trying to create,
Right.
and add the song into it, trying to say it's ours, then
Not giving credit where credit's due.
correct.
So if we find a live show that was played on YouTube, we're able to play it on the air.
I wouldn't see why not.
And we're resting our laurels on Cory for all our legal questions.
Apparently. I mean,
Oh, boy.
if you want to be ultra conservative and tell him don't do it, I can't.
I don't know. You were extremely conservative when it comes
I
to
was.
this, and now you're like,
But then
Cory knows YouTube.
But then I asked him. I'm like, well,
You asked Cory.
it's hard to argue with the logic, though. If anybody can find on YouTube, why would it be a big deal if I played it here? And that made sense to me. I'm like, okay, well, that I understand.
Okay.
Because there's plenty of shit that's not available on YouTube because it's been blocked by the content creators.
Are you
Or the
convincing
owner
me
of
or yourself?
No, I'm just saying this is the logic I use to go like, oh, I get it. You know?
Sure.
So while you're looking for that, Cory, I'll keep going. According to the VP Marketing for Michelob Ultra, sales volume for the beer grew in the triple digits following the airing of the ad. It also had the effect of introducing the ASMR community to an entirely new audience. And it also started showing up in popular music, most notably in Billie Eilish's album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? And she has a particular way of singing in which, you know, you could draw a lot of parallels between that and between the whispering nature of ASMR on the internet. So so creators started flocking to the platform. They started using the videos to relax or fall asleep, and they would be there was a lot of pushback too over ASMR being potentially viewed as a capitalistic enterprise, which is, you know, anytime something gets big, anybody who was in it from the ground floor is going to say, oh man, now that it's big and now that it's making money, like, it's not pure. I don't want to be part of it anymore because it's not what I signed up for. It's not what it was when I got involved. You know what I mean? It's the classic joke we do at defense.
Well, but I also think this video too is it was kind of late in the game. There was already people doing ASMR and putting it online.
Yeah.
I think Michelob just kind of.
This is what brought it to people.
Oh yeah, to the attention of.
Right, he had no idea what it was.
So can I see the remote real quick?
Which one do you want?
The TV remote.
Yep.
So yeah, this is the.
All right, so Cory's pulled it up, and he's going to have to jack the volume way up on this to get the mics to pick it up.
Just pull it up and jack it.
In the back.
Right in the back.
Cory's pulled it up, and he's going to have to jack it.
You're getting the live stream in the background.
Just pull it up and jack it.
In the back. Right. Do you have the video open on your laptop?
Yeah, the live stream.
Oh, well, close it down.
Yeah, I'll pause that real quick.
All right, so Cory's going to play it now. Hopefully we'll be able to pick up some of this. But anyway, if you want to go to YouTube, you're searching for Ultra Pure Gold Super Bowl commercial with Zoe Kravitz ASMR. Go ahead, Cory.
Let's all experience something together. This place, so pure, you can feel it. This beer, so pure, you can taste it. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold. Beer in its organic form.
Now, if you listen to that video, out of, this is really the worst place to do it, but she's literally like moving between two mics where you got left and right. Oh, does she doing three?
Yeah, there was one in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, you could absolutely hear her move around the field of sound if you listen to it with headphones. I somehow missed that whole ad when it originally aired. But I go, oh, okay, I understand.
Oh, and they make specialized headphones for it now too. Or not headphones, but microphones. And that's why I brought up this other page. Oh, hang on. Damn it. Still trying to get used to this.
All right, while you're looking, I'm going to go through, I got two more paragraphs to go. We'll get through one of them. So for years, the creators of ASMR have been rallying for more research into the potentially therapeutic use of ASMR. The very first peer-reviewed study was published out of Swansea University in 2015, surveying 475 participants about their triggers and the physiological experiences with the sensation. Of those who had used AMSR for chronic pain, 42% of those people said watching ASMR videos had an effect on their symptoms. A 2016 study said functional magnetic resonance imaging technology, which is used to study the brains of people who experience ASMR versus those who did not, found that there was more functional connectivity in the brains of the former group than the latter. So the results provided some support to the working theory that ASMR could be an evolutionary response related to so-called affiliative behavior or social interactions such as grooming, touching, or hugging, which are meant to cement social bonds. You find it?
I did, yeah. It's so to show how big this community's gotten. This is a Twitch stream,
Mm-hmm.
and they're the Twitch community as far as all the ASMR videos.
Right.
And they currently have 1.1 million followers. And this is just actual ASMR. This isn't like people's personal pages that they use and all that.
Right.
So it goes through, I mean, just every different type of, so ear noms, ear licking, ear eats.
I'm watching Nick put his head in his hands going, oh my god.
This one really interesting. Wrestle Me Baby / Cowboy.
It's really tough not to look at that and think like, oh, it's not sexual anyway. It's just for stimulation of whatever the part of your brain.
Yeah.
I know Nick can't get along with this idea.
I mean, I understand how.
There's just so many subcultures of it.
Yeah.
You know, just all the anime and the sexual undertones, and I guess, I mean, that's great. I can get on board with the surface value of the ASMR. You know, the actual.
So like, like you were just saying,
No.
like this chick here.
What?
The
I don't. The audience can't see it, and I can barely see it.
What is it to say? Ear
eating
softness.
No.
But it's a well endowed female in a very low cut top.
Yeah, but
That's doing it.
Yeah,
So
sexualizing.
I don't want to
Right.
hear anybody sexually whispering to me. Like, the commercial was great, and you got the spine tingly, aspect of it, and that was good. That was good, but that's about as far as I'm going to delve into it.
Yeah.
All this subculture, there's a lot of cartoons and stuff, and to me it's tantamount to the people that dress up in the stuffed animal costumes with the tails.
furries.
Yeah, that's creepy to me. I mean, if that's what you do what you do.
You're not going to join the furry community?
I'm really not. But
That's actually why we had to put this blanket up, because Nick's new furry costume is directly behind there.
behind it. Yeah, it's a neon green bunny. But people that's how I feel about that. It's like, okay, and I know a lot of people like Comic-Con, but again, dressing up and doing all this weird shit, it's just not for me. If that's your thing, great. But I feel like this is going down that very, very same road. And there's going to be a lot of just branches that come off of that.
Oh, well, yeah. But just as we're doing on the podcast, I mean...
Sure. Like
we're just
Bob's weird haircut fetish is going to be in there. And it's going to be like, yeah, cut my hair, baby. You cut that hair. Wash it, cut it.
Let me ask you guys this.
Brush it. Is
there anything that, any experience, whether it's been like a sound or a touch of some way that like really rubs you the wrong way, like you can't stand?
Huh.
A sound or a brush?
Well, something that you've experienced that where you're like, nope, gives me the creeps. Like, I don't like that. Like Keegan doesn't like people chewing food with their mouths open.
Yeah, but that's like that's actually like a specific type of person. They've narrowed that down to people that, and I can't for the life of me quote it, but I know I've read some articles that state that there's a specific reason. People that get annoyed or have anxiety about people eating and chewing, it's a specific kind of disorder. Just like there's disorders for absolutely everything and anything, and people have anxiety for everything and anything. And like Ellen DeGeneres used to say, what happened to when I was younger and people were just crazy? Why is there always an answer to everything now? If someone did something weird, they were just crazy. Well,
and it's actually funny you mentioned that, because Keegan did send a link to me, Callie, and my mom about how it is an actual disorder. People she's like,
it's not a disorder in the sense that it has to do with eating, but people that are predisposed to being annoyed or getting severe anxiety from that chewing noise, it's not because they're just like anal retentive. It's specifically more likely than not because they fall under a certain category, you know. And it's almost like to them, to me, it's like I don't give a fuck, you know. But to them, it's like nails on a chalkboard, you know. It's like it's huge. It's a really big deal. So, which is interesting, you know, that you know you can narrow something down like that, you know.
Yeah, again though, I might be on Ellen's side with the.
Yeah, what happened when people are just crazy?
Yeah.
Hey, you're just nuts. Suck it up.
Chris Rock's side.
And not even necessarily saying that, you know, you're crazy, but it's just something you don't like, and it bothers you.
But it does go deeper than that, you know. I mean, it's not just something people don't like. It's like saying, oh, well, people with IBS, that milk's just too spicy for you. No, it's their bodies reacting differently to it. So, like, mentally, they're reacting differently than you and I would.
Okay, Dr. Nick Bader, you give me your diagnosis here. If I'm watching a movie, or even in real life, if someone is around me and they're brushing their teeth, and there's that like sound when
Yeah.
they're brushing your teeth, gives me the fucking creeps.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can relate on that on a certain level, and I think we all have those little.
Like makes my hair stand on end.
Right.
Makes me want to leave the room,
So
so I don't have to hear it.
we all have those little isms, and with me personally, it's two pieces of like almost like that polyester windbreaker material. If you were to like rub them together, you know.
Oh yeah.
To me, that
Really? Cringe worthy?
Yeah, very much so. Almost like nails on a chalkboard. It's almost like teeth grinding. The teeth grinding doesn't bother me. That bothers me. Two specific types of fabric. It's the same fabric, but if you were to rub them together, it's like you know,
Wow.
You just want to shake.
Okay.
Yeah, but I get that way with that.
So we have that in common. Two different things. But what about you, Cory? Is there something that you have where?
Oh God, yeah. Are you serious? Him? Yes. A dozen.
Many things.
Yes, a dozen times.
Well, let's let him answer that, and then you can pile on.
Oh no, actually, I actually do want to hear what you think.
Well, because there has been a dozen times where I've heard the little Coryisms of things that freak you out, and I'll have to really, take my little Nick in my head and go back in the library to try and pull out some of these chapters of what the Cory problems were. But it was almost like something to do with eyes or teeth or biting into ice cream. I think that was one of them, but I think that was because of all the dental work and stuff you've had. I think that probably affects you differently. But there were a lot of those. You're like, no, stop it, that you just could not deal with.
Oh, I mean, yeah, someone touching their eyeball or like putting contact in, I definitely can't do.
But there were certain things you couldn't even you couldn't even talk about. You couldn't look at. Oh yeah, that's what it was.
That's another good one. People putting contacts.
Cory
I can't do.
Cory cannot handle.
Yeah.
Looking at.
Yeah.
Bone breaking videos. Or pictures.
Like the Joe Theismann.
Like someone's leg got kicked out and you can see their legs bent.
Fuck, dude. So come on. Stop.
He can't even.
We're not even looking.
I know.
He can't even talk about
it. Really?
I've snapped both my arms several times.
Like the skin poking out.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
where the bone is.
I've had a compound fracture, and it's just
He can't even talk about it.
Oh my God.
It makes me very weak in the stomach.
Okay.
I mean, there's plenty of disgusting things.
Weak
I can
in the knees,
watch.
like your knees go backwards.
Exactly.
Okay.
See, Bob can't either.
No, I'm looking at the time, and I'm
Oh.
like, we just passed 2 hours, so I know I'm probably like at least a minute off of that, so we probably need to wrap this up if you want to keep it under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Danielle did make mention. She said he absolutely hates watching me take out my contacts.
All right, well, let's talk about this next week because there's more, not about ASMR necessarily, but I like this. Like, we need to bring Danielle into this. Not to talk about shit.
No,
that we
Nick
don't
started
like.
just touching his eye.
I can take my
I
contact
can't.
out if you want to see it.
I can't do that. That's why I wear glasses, because I can't.
You can. You choose not.
No, I can't.
Yeah, you can.
I'm physically unable.
Yeah.
And
Anyway.
I do have one more good one that I'm going to hang on to
Sure.
until next time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, don't forget.
I will not. Oh, trust me, I can't. It's part of my everyday life.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. for the Schnozzcast. This is Bob saying goodbye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. See you next time.
All right.